My girlfriend texted, "I gave your dog to a shelter. He shed too much." While I was at my father's funeral, I didn't respond. I just retrieved my dog, packed her belongings, and had her evicted for violating the lease. The dog was a registered ESA. When she came home to find the sheriff, original post I, 29 male, am sitting in my apartment with my dog Duke, sleeping next to me, still processing everything that happened this week. My dad passed away last Tuesday after a 2-year battle with cancer. While I was at his funeral on Friday, burying the man who raised me alone after mom died, my girlfriend Brittany, 27, decided it was the perfect time to get rid of my dog. The text came at 2:17 p.m., right as they were lowering the casket. "Hey babe, I took Duke to the shelter on Riverside. He was shedding too much, and you know my allergies. They said he'll find a good home." I didn't respond, couldn't. My uncle saw my face change and asked if I was okay. I just put my phone away and finished burying my father. Duke isn't just a dog. He's my registered emotional support animal, prescribed by my psychiatrist 3 years ago for PTSD and severe anxiety after I was in a bad car accident. He's literally documented as medical equipment. Brittany knew this. She'd lived with us for 8 months. After the burial, while everyone else went to the reception, I drove straight to the shelter. 45 minutes of pure panic thinking about Duke, who has separation anxiety and doesn't do well with strangers. The shelter staff was horrified when I explained. They immediately brought Duke out. He was shaking in a corner of a cage, wouldn't eat. The moment he saw me, he started crying. I'm not ashamed to say I cried too. Right there in the shelter lobby the day I buried my dad. "Ma'am said he was aggressive and you were deployed military," the shelter worker told me. "We almost put him on the euthanasia list for Monday." She lied. She told them Duke was aggressive, he's scared of butterflies, and that I'd abandoned him. 3 more days and my dog would have been dead. I took Duke to my truck, called my buddy Anthony, who's a locksmith, and asked him to meet me at my apartment in an hour. Here's the thing about my apartment. I'm the sole leaseholder. Brittany moved in 8 months ago, but was never added to the lease. She's technically a month-to-month tenant at best. And the lease specifically states that my ESA is permitted and protected under the Fair Housing Act. Attempting to remove, harm, or rehome an ESA is grounds for immediate lease violation and eviction. By 6 p.m. Friday, locks changed, all her stuff packed in boxes, eviction notice taped to the door, police report filed for theft. Duke is legally medical equipment worth $2,500, including training. Restraining order paperwork started. She came home at 11:30 p.m. from her girls' night, drunk, laughing on the phone. The laughter stopped real quick when her key didn't work. Update 1. The entitlement begins. Saturday morning, 7 a.m. The pounding started. "Jackson, open this door right now." I opened it with the chain on. Duke immediately started whimpering and hid behind my legs. "What the hell is wrong with you?" she screeched. "Open the door. You gave away my medical equipment while I was at my father's funeral. We're done." "Medical equipment? It's a dog, a dirty, shedding dog. He's a registered ESA. You committed theft. Your eviction notice is on the door. Your stuff is in boxes. Take them and leave." She tried to push past me. I closed the door. She called the cops. 2 officers showed up. I showed them Duke's ESA registration and documentation, my psychiatrist's letter, the lease showing I'm the sole tenant, her text admitting to taking him to the shelter, the shelter's intake form with her signature, and the lies about aggression meant. The older cop looked disgusted. "Ma'am, you took his emotional support animal to a shelter while he was at a funeral?" "It's just a dog," she kept saying. "It's medical equipment under federal law," the cop corrected. "You're lucky he's not pressing charges." "Oh, I am," I said. "Theft and filing a false report to the shelter about aggression." They made her leave. But Brittany was just getting started. Saturday afternoon, her mom Diane showed up. This woman who'd never liked me, always thought her daughter was dating down because I work in IT instead of finance like her precious ex. "Jackson, sweetie," she started with fake concern. "Brittany's distraught. She made a mistake. Can't you forgive her? She tried to have my dog killed while I was burying my father." "Killed? Don't be dramatic." I pulled up the shelter's website, showed her Duke's intake photo, labeled as aggressive with a Monday euthanasia date. Diane went pale. She said she just rehomed it. She lied to them, said he was aggressive and abandoned. 3 more days and he'd be dead. For once, Diane had nothing to say. Update 2, the escalation Sunday. Brittany tried a new approach. Started posting on social media about how I chose a dog over our relationship and how she's homeless because of an animal. My phone started blowing up. Mutual friends asking what happened. I posted one response. She gave away my prescribed emotional support animal to a kill shelter while I was at my father's funeral. The shelter was going to euthanize him Monday. She told them he was aggressive and abandoned. I have receipts. Attached screenshots of her text, the shelter paperwork, and Duke's ESS certification. The comments turned real quick. Even her friends were disgusted. Then came Monday. I was working from home when I got a call from my landlord. "Hey Jackson, I just got a complaint saying you're harboring a dangerous animal." I explained everything. Sent him the documentation. "Jesus Christ," he said. "She did what at your dad's funeral?" "Yeah, no, she's gone. I'll send formal property ban paperwork today, and I'm sorry about your father." But Brittany wasn't done. Tuesday morning, animal control showed up. "We got a report of an aggressive dog at this address." Duke was literally asleep on his back, legs in the air, snoring. The officer took one look and laughed. "That's the dangerous dog?" I showed her everything. She shook her head. "We'll note this as a false report. That's actually a crime, by the way." Update 3, the legal consequences. Wednesday I got served. Brittany was suing me for illegal eviction and emotional distress. $10,000. I actually laughed. Called my cousin who's a lawyer. "She took your ESA to a shelter during your dad's funeral," he said. "Send me everything. I'll handle this pro bono. This is gonna be fun." Thursday was her court date for the criminal charges. Theft of medical equipment and filing a false report. I thought she'd get a slap on the wrist. Nope. The judge was a veteran with a service dog in his chambers. He was pissed. "Miss Brittany Hayward, you took someone's prescribed emotional support animal, which is protected under the Fair Housing Act and ADA provisions, and deliberately endangered it by filing false reports about aggression. You did this while the victim was at his father's funeral?" "Your Honor, it's just a dog. It's medical equipment. Would you throw away someone's wheelchair because it took up too much space?" She got 6 months probation, $2,500 fine, 100 hours community service at animal shelters. Mandatory counseling. Restraining order keeping her 500 feet from me and Duke. But the best part, the shelter manager testified. Turns out Brittany had signed legal documents stating she was the owner surrendering her own animal. That's fraud. Additional charge, felony fraud, that's pending. Update 4, the family drama Friday. I'm at the pet store with Duke, getting his favorite treats. He deserved all the treats after this week. When I run into Brittany's dad, Robert. "Jackson." "Robert." I heard what happened. All of it. I stayed quiet. Diane didn't tell me the whole truth at first. Said you kicked Britt out over nothing. Then I saw the court records. He looked tired, defeated. "She did this at your father's funeral?" "Yes." "Christ, I'm sorry about your dad and what she did." Then he said something that explained a lot. "She did something similar with her ex's cat. Diane helped her cover it up." I should have said something. Pattern of behavior. Great. Weekend was quiet. Too quiet. Monday morning, I got a call from my insurance company. "Mr. Morrison? We're calling about a claim filed against your renter's insurance for property damage." Brittany claimed I damaged $5,000 worth of her property when I packed it. "I have video," I told them. I recorded myself packing everything carefully. Because of course I did. After the shelter incident, I knew she'd try something. Sent them the 3 hours of footage showing me carefully packing her items, bubble wrapping her electronics, folding her clothes, even showed me taking photos of existing damage on her laptop and designer bags. Claim denied. Insurance fraud investigation opened. Update 5. The Workplace Revenge Tuesday. Things got interesting. I got a LinkedIn message from Brittany's coworker, Melissa. "Hey Jackson, weird question. Did Brittany really take your dog to a shelter during your dad's funeral? Turns out, Brittany had been telling everyone at work that I was abusive, that I kicked her out for no reason, that she's traumatized, playing victim hard." "Yes," I replied. "I have court documents if you need proof." OMG, she's been taking donations from people here, said she was homeless because of you. I sent Melissa the court records, the shelter paperwork, everything. By Thursday, Brittany was fired. Not for the lies, but because she'd been soliciting money from coworkers under false pretenses. That's against company policy. And someone, not me, forwarded everything to HR, including her felony fraud charge. She tried calling me 67 times from different numbers, left voicemails crying, screaming, apologizing, threatening. All saved and sent to my lawyer. Friday, the real karma hit. Update 6, the apartment hunt. Brittany's friend Amy reached out. We'd always gotten along, and she was horrified by what Brittany did. Jackson, I thought you should know, Brittany can't find an apartment. Turns out, having an eviction, criminal charges, and a restraining order makes you pretty unrentable. Plus, when landlords Googled her name, the first result was a news article. Local woman charged with fraud after surrendering boyfriend's emotional support dog during father's funeral. Yeah, it made the news. Slow news week, I guess. But here's where it gets good. Remember how she told the shelter Duke was aggressive? Well, that's officially documented. She's now on a citywide do not adopt list for animal shelters. When she tried to get her own emotional support animal, suddenly she believes in them, she was denied. The therapist she went to for an ESA letter looked up her history, saw the criminal charges for lying about Duke, and refused to write the letter, actually reported her to the medical board for trying to manipulate the system. Update 7, the final showdown. 3 weeks after the funeral, I finally had to face her in civil court about her lawsuit. She showed up looking rough, hair unwashed, designer clothes replaced with sweats. The confidence was gone. My cousin destroyed her in court. Your Honor, here we have Ms. Hayward's text, admitting to taking the plaintiff's registered ESA to a shelter while he was at his father's funeral. Here's the shelter intake form where she claimed to be the owner. Here's where she marked aggressive, knowing it would lead to euthanasia. Here's the timeline showing she did this exactly 47 minutes after the funeral started. But the judge wanted to hear from Brittany. Miss Hayward, explain to me why you felt entitled to remove someone else's medical equipment. It's shed on my clothes. You lived there for 8 months knowing about the dog. Why that specific day? She actually said it. I knew he couldn't stop me during the funeral. The judge's face. I've never seen such disgust. So you deliberately waited until he was at his most vulnerable, burying his father, to dispose of his emotional support animal? I didn't think. No, you didn't think. You didn't think about anyone but yourself. Judgment. Her lawsuit dismissed with prejudice. She owes me $2,500 for Duke's documented value, $3,000 emotional distress, $5,000 punitive damages, all legal fees. Total, $14,500 she doesn't have. But I wasn't done. Update 8. The garnishment. Brittany had no money to pay. She was living with her parents, unemployed, facing criminal charges. But my cousin's a shark. Wage garnishment follows her for years, he explained. Every job she gets, 25% comes to you until it's paid. We filed the paperwork. She'll be paying me back for the next decade, minimum. But the real satisfaction came from an unexpected place. Her ex, Thomas, reached out, the one with the cat she'd gotten rid of. Hey man, heard what happened. She told me my cat ran away. Now I know the truth. He's filing charges too. Theft. His cat was worth $3,000. Purebred Maine Coon. Between us, she's looking at serious jail time. Final update. 6 weeks later. It's been 6 weeks since Dad's funeral. Duke and I are doing better. The grief comes in waves, but Duke's always there, head on my lap when I need him. Brittany took a plea deal. 2 years probation. $10,000 total fines. 300 hours community service. Banned from animal ownership for 5 years. Felony on her record. She has to report to a probation officer monthly, pay me monthly, and can't leave the state. Every job application, she has to check yes on criminal history. Every background check shows fraud and theft. Diane tried one last time to fix things, showed up with a $2,000 check. This is for Duke. Can we just move past this? Your daughter tried to kill my dog during my father's funeral. Everyone makes mistakes. Taking the wrong highway exit is a mistake. This was calculated cruelty. She left the check. I donated it to the shelter that saved Duke. Last I heard, Brittany's working fast food, living with her parents, and telling anyone who'll listen that she's the victim. But the internet is forever. Her name is permanently linked to woman who surrendered boyfriend's emotional support dog during father's funeral. Duke's doing great. Still sheds everywhere. Still scared of butterflies. Still the best boy. We've moved to a better apartment. Used the settlement money for a deposit on a place with a yard. He's got a doggy door, his own room, and more toys than he knows what to do with. My dad would have been furious about what Brittany did. He loved Duke, called him his grandpup. In his will, he actually left money specifically for Duke's care. That's the kind of man he was. Sometimes Duke and I visit Dad's grave. Duke lies on the grass while I talk to Dad. Tell him about the case, about Brittany getting what she deserved, about how Duke's safe now. The entitlement to think she could just dispose of a living creature because of some shed fur. The cruelty to do it during a funeral. The stupidity to document it in writing. The audacity to sue ME afterward. But here's what I learned. Document everything. Trust your gut. Don't let anyone minimize your needs or your bond with your pet. And never ever date someone who doesn't respect your animals. Duke's snoring next to me as I write this. Still sheds everywhere. I wouldn't change a thing. To everyone who messaged support, thank you. Duke's gotten more treats and toys from internet strangers than I can count. He's living his best life. To Brittany, if you're reading this, yes, I chose the dog. Would choose him again, every single time. Enjoy probation. Edit. Since many asked, yes, Duke has an Instagram now. He's terrible at selfies but great at looking confused. Edit 2. The shelter that saved Duke received $50,000 in donations after the story went viral. They renamed their medical ward Duke's Den. We visit monthly so Duke can show the scared dogs that things get better.